Good morning. It is not even close to 10:30 a.m. It is 10:38. It is Sunday morning, and that means it is time for Sunday Club, a weekly Ruby on Rails live stream where each week we write some Rails code and we're working on an app together. And each week we drag it incrementally forward, just a tiny little part. And then I don't really work on it during the week, and then we start again all over the next week. And we are working on an event registration application where people can, organizers can create events, and then people can say, hey, I want to take part in that. And eventually we want to work towards having people register in groups and take part in team events and have all of the fun kind of domain specific logic and problems that go around with that and how we might deal with that in a Rails application. Take a look on the Sunday Club YouTube channel for all of the archive videos. There is loads of stuff there. There's some stuff from the previous app. There's all of the incremental progression of this one. And that's it. That's the intro. There's no follow-up this week because there is nothing to follow up, but there is a warning for this week because I have finally finished something that I mentioned last week, which is moving over to having a new user on my laptop for this stream, just so it didn't get mingled in with all the other projects. And I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be fine. Let's jump over. Let's get into it. So I've got a new user on the laptop, and there are a bunch of apps which I didn't realize do not like multi-user environments on macOS. So Notion is one of them. Haven't really figured that out yet. And Postgres app seems to have some issues there, so I have to restart rather than jumping between users. But that's all good. We don't seem to have had too many explosions. And most importantly, we are able to run our app. But don't forget that we won't have any of our seed data. We haven't written a seeds file yet. So I think if we just start the server up, we should be able to start a server. And I think we should be able to get to it. And that'll be about as far as we can get because operations there, some stuff's going on. Webpack is compiling. This is because I pulled just yesterday, I just pulled the most recent branch through here. Okay, great. So without creating an organization and all of the fun models that we've got, we can't do much else, but let's get into what we want to tackle today. So last week we were looking at ViewComponents. So I did some whip commits. So what were we working on here? Remove. Why do I have a little robot icon? Okay, that's terrifying. Remove colored outlines used during development. Fix layout issue. Oh, so we got our little menu working. Okay, great. So what I thought we could tackle this week is I know I mentioned doing some of the ViewComponent stuff on the views page. Let me switch my app, switch onto this monitor. Great, so what I thought we could tackle were some of the stuff in Notion, which is some bugs and some like behavior around that. This is the main one that I think we want to do. Event incorrectly scoped to new order page, which we can get into when we pick it up. And then maybe we can do some of the view components for the event page as well. And maybe like a site nav view component for our normal users. So we did our admin site navigation previously, and we can take a look at that. Let's sort of get into it. Let's start a console up then. So do we want to start building some seed data? Actually, that's probably more productive. DB seeds, what's in here? Okay, so we're really early on in the life cycle of this app, so I think we can sort of just put in some very basic stuff in here. As an app matures, seed data tends to become really vital for new developers joining the team. Need seed data. The relationship between models needs to be created. So what I have had in the past is like a mixture of maybe thinking of seeds as like the bare minimum required. Like there might be a set of data that must be in the database for the app to even function. Like there cannot be an empty database on top of the application, which which if you're working on like an open source project might not be viable because people might want to play around in that. But if you're working on a like a product, you're never going to have an empty database, otherwise you'd have bigger problems. So it's sort of reasonable to say for a developer environment, you're going to need to run seeds. But what I've done in the past is been on projects where the seeds is like the literal core minimum bit of information needed. And then we would have, I think, like just different ways of building out data. So you might have like, hey, I need a bunch of admin data. Hey, I need a bunch of fake users. Hey, I need a bunch of other stuff, whatever it is. And you can then call a rake command and have those built out. And that's actually maintained, that code is maintained. So rather than just one massive seeds file, you'd have individual rake files to provide you with customized, could be QA data, could be development data, could be load testing, could be whatever you need. So like seed data is really like malleable like that. And then the other thing is for developers who are getting up and running on larger databases, I think I would usually expect to have some sort of way of getting a standardized data set across the developers. So whether it's being built from scratch or to make it more production ready, you might have a sanitized version of your production data, like a truncated sanitized version. You might have, for smaller applications, if it's just like a one-person thing, you might have like a DB dump or something like that from Postgres or some of those other fun things. So we're going to start right at the very, very tip start of that journey, but just by putting some dumb stuff in seeds like that. I'm just sort of laying out a journey that I think a lot of applications do go on as their needs for seed data grows. And we could start by having like a rake task or some sort of class that built out in organizations, and you know that you can put all the assets in with the logos and all of the stuff and have it all branded up with the right stuff. But I think for now we can just build one because I'm really lazy on a Sunday morning. So we want an organization is like our first thing, and we're going to make this so what you can do by calling, like this example has .create, so that would fail silently if it already existed. I think what we'll do is we might make this a bit like, just because it's my first run at it, we'll just make it I need an empty database, like because you'll bump into a bunch of like unique constraints if you try and share slugs or anything like that. And I'm just going to say let's treat the seed as a blank sheet each time. But you could make the seed file like, I don't know if this is the right way to use that, but like, would this be idempotent or idempotent, however you want to say it? Like if you run the seeds, and even if everything there already exists, it will just not do anything. Or you could have it just create a new set and add a number on the end. Yeah, you can do what you want. You're super smart. Right, what does an organization need? It needs a name and a slug, but it will generate the slug from the name. So let's create the name as Sunday Club. So that slug, actually let's specify the slug because I think it will create it, but we can then know just by looking at it what it is. And we want a user, and that user, because I have got really used to doing it, is going to be test123example.com because for the last many months that's been the only user we've had. And we can just set a password as like the minimum devise requirements for password, I think. And I think we want an organization. So let's set this as just as a variable. We'll just call this user. We're just doing like I said, a really basic version of seed data. Again, actually we'll do this one with a bang as well. Just bump this one size up for the stream. Okay, so in here we can do organization. Make that Sunday Club, and we can do user as user. In fact, let's do a couple of we also did, because we want to test out our little app switcher. So this is sort of where you get into your like, well, what seed data do we need? Well, what do we want to test and try? What do we want to happen on our development environment for us to play around with? And this could be like can just be other organization. other org. We can do another one of these. And again, just hand cranking everything for now. We're not trying to be diligent or smart about it. So will this work? That's really what we want. So in here we can say, we must have databases, I think. Let's just bump the font size right up. And so we can say, yeah, we must have a database because it asked us to DB migrate, didn't it? DB seed. I'm in the wrong place. Okay, cool. And you can, here we go. So this is, oh, missing loads of commas all over the place. Great one, amazing. Yep, just really on it this morning. This is my first coffee. Okay, so it had already built Sunday Club, so we can do reg-db drop. So like I said, we can choose whether that fails or not because it already exists. Oh no, I did drop. I should have done reset or whatever it is. Sorry, I'm making us take too long. Yeah, db seed. I didn't do schema load. Yep. Come on, Max. I think Rails DB reset will get you all of that stuff, but don't know. Great. Okay, so stuff in the day. I think the server was running that whole time. So can we now again? What's up? Can we now go to like this, and it'll ask me to log in as test123example.com. Ooh, okay. Is that user in there? Why is this so long? So test123example.com should be my user. And then my password. It's not confirmed. Okay. I think we bumped into this before where we've set it up. So because we don't have a user creation path at the moment, Devise might not let you sign in. So let's just kill that server for a second. Yeah, so can I just do user.count and check there is one? Great, okay, so I think it might be that problem. Can I do db reset then? Is that the right one? Testing my memory here. Yep, okay, that's coming back up. And then we can do, oh, so that's created it. Do I still need to do schema load? Don't know, there was no output from that. Can't remember. DB seed, okay, can I now sign in? I killed the server. Okay, hang on a second. Great, okay, amazing. Oh, okay, what fun. So we don't have any styling. We don't have any styling. Okay, that's fun. Do we not have... Okay, didn't do yarn install. Okay. So let's kill that server again, and then start it back up and see if Webpack will... Yeah, that's what it needs. So just to clarify, if you didn't see the bit at the start, this is a new... I haven't switched laptops, but I am on a new user within my same laptop, so that's why the app is acting like it's a brand new. I had to reinstall Ruby and reinstall everything on this this user account, so I'm not sure Oh, okay. Still don't have any styling. All right, this is fun. We're going to debug some stuff. This is really useful for peeps. Okay, what's going on here? Where's my web inspector? My browser is revolting on me. What's going on? Okay. Oh, there we go. Oh, that was weird. DevTools now follows the overall Firefox theme. You can revert light or dark theme in the settings panel. Okay, that's fine. I don't need that for now. Thank you. So where is our styling? What's happening? Are we not trying to call any application.js? Right, where is our CSS? What is happening up here? Let's bump this font up so we can take a look. And we can probably close this. Right, so we've got this thing here that's being requested. Is it being... Oh, something flicked in the background. Has it just been compiling? No, okay. Okay, so we have a CSS file. Got some stuff in it. Got all the trick stuff in it. Okay, so something is coming through, but none of our CSS. Okay, so have I missed a step in the... Is it because any data is missing? No, there is. That's a switcher, so that's stimulus not coming through, but that might... It's still just hidden, so that's still being rendered. Yeah, it's just hidden here. Okay. The stimulus isn't firing and CSS isn't firing. So the yarn stuff is all built. I think that running the Rails service should trigger both. Is something in Webpacker not running? Did we have to do something on... Hello in the chat. Okay, here's where the build... Oh, here we go. Okay, so this failed the first time because I hadn't run... I'm guessing that's because I hadn't run yarn install. Let's see if we just kill the server for a second. Jump back to our editor. Let's get rid of node modules for a second. Just rerun yarn install. Just wondering if the fact that that wasn't present when the server first ran created a problem that it couldn't get back over. All right, so this isn't what we thought we were going to be doing today, but that's all good. It's more representative of what real life is like. You go to do something productive and instead spend your entire time debugging your development environment. That feels very realistic. Okay, still not happening. Okay, so that's good. We know that that's not working. We know that a CSS file is being generated and inserted into the... Where is that tricks editor used? So on new event, if we create a new event, that needs to be event. Okay, so if we do edit this event, I can't remember where we are using that tricks that tricks editor. Is it not in when we? Is it not on here? Yeah, event description tricks editor. Okay, so that is not actually being used. Okay, so there is a CSS file being generated and put in the header. In the head, sorry. Oh, okay. We're still getting this. Oh, okay. We're still getting this error here. Cannot find module hot wired stimulus. So that's obviously preventing the rest of the build. And that's from here. Here. Okay. Have I missed something in? Because I just grabbed the branch from my other user. So have I missed something when I've pulled that over? Got loads of stuff in here. So add hot wired. This webpack helpers, add stimulus.js package. That's just in package.json. So why is that not being found? Hot wired stimulus. So is it in node modules? Or is that error a red herring? Hot wired stimulus. Okay. It's in node modules. Something is weird and I'm missing it. We need to run bundle and check. Oh, no, that is all up to date. Okay. So what's missing from moving it over from one user to the other? I just grab the branch. Just gonna jump onto the other screen and grab GitHub profile. Bear with me. Just because I can see what because I just want to jump back to master and see if this works if we jump back. Okay, so this repo here, zoom in on it. Bring it to another tab and then bring it in here. Okay, so this, we have two branches, one master and one adding view components. And adding view components is the branch that we've been working on for the last few streams, and it more than a few, and it has got like a bajillion commits on it, all like work in progress stuff, but it did work. And I think that's the branch we're on here, right? Yes, but this gemfile.lock has changed. I actually don't know what that is. That like for a new macOS version? Is that coming in a new bundler? Because these aren't the same bundler version. Just Google what that is. No, I care specifically about that part. Don't think that matters though. I think that's just, let's commit so git commit, add a quick message, whip start adding seed data, add it to the 4 million other whip commits on this branch. Fine. Okay, so now we want to jump back to master. Your branch is up to date with master. Okay. So now if we do bundle install, because remember this is a new install of the application, even though I'm on the same laptop. And then if we do yarn install, now let's see if the app works and if it's broken past master. Git bisect could be a way of doing this as well. I don't know how well that would work with jumping between having Webpack have to redo everything, but Git bisect, if you haven't used it, is a really cool tool where you can basically say, this is broken here, but I know it worked here. Take me to commits in the middle each time so that I can find where it broke. And so it's a tool built into Git to help you discover at what point something broke. And it's incredibly helpful. You really need, it's one of the main advantages of running like atomic commits, so that you know that if every commit, like your tests pass and everything makes sense, even if it's a work in progress one, that you finally rebase and tidy up and don't have a bunch of junk on master. It means that you can bisect your way through main or master and find where an issue was introduced. It's super helpful. I've only really had to use it in anger like a couple of times, but it really helped. I found the thing I was looking for, and I was like, oh, I was very grateful. Because if it's like, hey, this happened at some point in the last 6 months, you're like, oh god. Oh, okay, great. So we've got CSS. So let's go back to here. Do we have CSS? Because there's just nothing there. But the tricks editor was working. We hadn't added any CSS yet, I don't think. Okay, so master is just literally unstyled. So it still has the CSS file. But I don't know if anything is actually being styled yet. Admin event list item 1. Is there any Sass in the view components on master? Components. No. Okay. Well, let's just do what I was talking about. Let's sort of jump to a more recent commit, but within the same. Anyway, let's just jump in here. Okay, so we're on. Let's go to adding view components then. Let's switch to this branch, but instead take a look at these and say, okay, well, let's jump to this one. So let's do. You are now in a detached head state. Yep, great. Trying to chase down what's going on here, if you're wondering what I'm doing. Trying to work out why that's not working, why my CSS isn't loading. And rather than diving into examining that current state, I'm trying to work out at what point it happened. I don't know if that's the most helpful way to do it. We should have some CSS at this point, I think. And so we can just see, is the CSS being honored? Right, here it works. Okay, great. So at this point, we're all good. And so we don't have an issue with fundamentally with CSS being loaded in, because this is all styled. It's the point at which stimulus, so it is stimulus being added that breaks our app. So here we then add the stimulus package and we add these two. Okay, great. Let's check these out. So git checkout, yarn install. So this should be just adding those two things. And then let's run the server again. We're sort of doing it as we did it on the branch itself. So does this break things? So this should be identical, because all we've done in those intermediate two commits is add a dependency. Okay, so that's now working. Okay, so we're sort of doing a manual git bisect here. We're jumping around. So like it worked here, things worked here. Okay, so let's see if we can just jump to the end then. There's not a lot going on in the middle. And each time I'm running bundle install and yarn install just to see if there's anything that's caught it out. Okay. So is this styleless or styled? It is styled. Interesting. Okay. I'm going to put that down to Webpack. So jumping to the end of the branch. Jumping to the end of the branch and just running yarn install and bundle install didn't work. There was obviously a step missing. But doing it incrementally and getting us there worked, which is very disheartening. And this should have our little ticker in, a little area here where you can switch between organizations. And this should also work on mobile, or where you can do this and it goes full width. Then jumps over to the right hand side. And this is where we got to last week. Okay, great. So we are now up and running with our local development environment with CSS, with JavaScript, and everything up and running. It looks awful, but that doesn't matter. We have styled it. We've just sort of styled it, quote unquote. So let's. We don't need to commit anything. So let's go and find that last change here. Why does this give me? So let's discard this change and then do bundle install. Does that just automatically get put back? Yeah. Okay. So I think we're just going to commit this because I'm assuming this is. You just want to Google what this is. Is it? Well, let's take that out then and just do Rails bundle platforms. Is this platforms that these gems will work on? Like, have I added a gem at some point and it's added... I don't think we've added a gem recently. Have I added a gem, it's added that line and I've not committed it? Or has a gem... I wonder what Darwin 21 is. Is that like the new M1 MacBook Airs or something? Okay. Kind of annoying that nothing is just using platforms in here. Here we go. Here's one for me. Okay, so someone's run bundle with add platform, but I don't think I've done that. Bundle multiple platforms. Okay, so the gem file is adding. I get the purpose of it, but why is it appearing now to me? A change in bundler version? And why, when I search for that specific string, am I not finding anything? this one. Search for just that. Just gonna click through some of these. Like, just trying to see. Auto review platform. Okay, just going down a rabbit hole there. Okay, there's someone who's written a massive bash script to work around something binary builds for new macOS version, I guess. Okay, so it looks like it's something to do with Monterey, I'm hoping, which sort of makes sense because that's what I'm running on this. But I think I've only added I'm only in a new user for this laptop. I'm not on a new laptop. Like, they were the same macOS versions. So why is this? I'm just going to add it in a whip commit on the assumption that it's happening for now. I think this might install both gems compatible with both those versions, but I don't know what the ramifications of that, so I'm just going to put it in as a whip commit and then come back and review it when I have some time. Just so that sort of goes away in the short term. Okay, great. All right, cool. So let's go. Now that we've done all of that stuff and got no further forward, like I said in the intro, we drag this app forward very incrementally each week. Let's go and solve our bug. Let's go and solve our bug. And the bug we're going to do is this one. So we are going to do this one here. Event incorrectly scoped a new event page. So we just need to decide on an approach here. So remember, everything looks rough and silly, but that's fine. We are going to when you create a new order for your event, so we've got an event here, and you want to go to the public page here and you want to buy a ticket. This goes to /orders. I don't know if this is visible in the stream because it's a bit small, but this goes to /orders /new, and then it passes in the slug of the event. So event equals new event. And the idea of my original thinking here was like, great, this creates a single place where you can pass everybody and all you need is this slug. But the problem is that the slug is not unique to an organization. So you could have an event called Fun Run 2022, which would be fun-run-2022. And then you might be organization A. And then the way that we have implemented slugs, which is the kind of part of the URL of the event, is that organization B could also have fun-run-2022. So this is not unique. So, and when we're then, the way that we're implementing this is we're just searching for this slug and we're bringing back the first event with that ID. Because again, this is just code from the stream. So we're not doing any kind of planning up front or any diligence or anything like that. So, okay, our lack of diligence has caused this issue. Fine. Okay, we're aware of that. And we want to fix it. So we need to fix it in one of several ways. So what are our options? So let's take a look at what we could do to solve this problem. Oops. So we could make slugs unique and no longer scope them to organizations. So that's, I think that's actually probably my favorite solution, but let's outline the other ones. So let's take a look at some examples of what we mean by that. So at the moment, you would have org A / fun run 2022. And then you would have and org-b fun run 2022. And what you could do is just say you can't do that. So you would force, let's say that organization creates this. You could basically set a rule saying, no, organization B just can't have that anymore. Like it's just gone. And they have to deal with it. You could also do what Trello does and a couple of other apps do. So you could say possible, just enforce unique rule across all organizations and force organizations to choose new slugs, or like or insert characters by default easier. There's a clash. So what do I mean by this? You'll see this on some apps as well. So this one here can become you might sort of see that where they this font size episode visible. Yep, so you might see where these characters here are just added. Format very well. Just to make it unique, basically. So like, we know you want the slug fun-run-2022, but we're just going to tag some stuff on the end. Okay, well, that's fine. Another possible is to do what Trello does, which is add a unique set of characters as a prefix for the slug. And they do, well, you wouldn't even need org B if you to put the org in this if you didn't want to, but that you could do org B / and then it would be like that dash fun dash run dash 2022. And so what that allows you to do is basically when you're getting your root information, you only need this part. Like this is unique enough that you only need this, and everything afterwards is just for like humans to read, basically, or SEO or whatever you want it for. The actual slug that the routing code cares around is this alphanumeric value at the start of the slug, and then everything else is just editable anytime. So if you change the name of a Trello card, for example, the slug changes, but this first part doesn't. So it gets, I don't even, maybe it doesn't change after it's been created. I think you can change it, but it also doesn't matter if you just write gibberish. If you just come in here and just type a bunch of stuff, the page will always load, because as long as after that first hyphen character, as long as the bit before that hyphen is the correct value, that's all routing cares about. Everything else is irrelevant. And that allows it to be super editable. They don't really care, and gives you a single value to work with. However, branding wise, people don't like that. users don't love having random stuff inserted onto their public facing URLs, marketing departments, all of that fun stuff. They want a nice clean URL like this one, that they can have whatever they want, and doesn't have a bunch of gibberish in it, even though it tends to then get mashed up when it then goes onto social media with all the link forwarders and ends up as like t.co and all of those fun things. They still, in my experience, very much enjoy a clean URL in their marketing blurb and stuff like that. So what else are our other options? We could pass the organization slug to orders.new. So that sort of does take away our nice clean, hey, you can make an order for an event from anywhere. All you need is the slug, and the event orders page will always know what to do. It sort of takes that away, because this would potentially either need to be scoped. So what could this look like? This could look like slash, hang on a second. So this could be slash org a dash orders slash new. Could be like that. Or it could be, these are all the same. Orders slash new org equals org a, and then you still got past the event through anyway. Event name, because this actually that's like, this one wouldn't be that clean because it would still be that. Okay, great. So that's an option. What other options have we got? We could, you could put the event in. I mean, you could do what I've just ignored, or you could go all the way and put the no, it'd be this one here, wouldn't it? Sorry, I'm just laying out all these options. I don't know. We're going to code one up, but I just want to know which one I prefer and why I'm picking it and stuff. So this is hopefully useful. Orders slash. This could be org a event name orders new. So that could be entirely scoped. So rather than having a single centralized URL for new orders, you could actually scope it to the event all the way down and require people to know that when they build the path, rather than passing stuff to it. I think you probably don't want that. I mean, it's basically the same as this one. I'm just thinking of people actually using the URLs in real life. And I think this is a really interesting one, because I think in my hello in the chat, hello. So I think this is a really interesting one, because I think engineering wise, I would probably choose this option here, the way that Trello do it, because you're getting all of the advantages of the malleable, changeable slugs, but you've just got to put up with this janky, like, alphanumeric prefix in front of it. My experience with marketing departments in the world is that that's not the one that they're gonna pick. They would always want the cleanest, nicest URLs, and to keep, and the organizers want to have whatever they want as the slug. So this initial solution that I've obviously picked, again, this is just for the stream, so we didn't do any real planning up front, so just sort of picked it up front, is to allow them to have the slug, is to keep the slug scoped here and deal with the issue in the orders URL, which allows them to keep these ones clean. A solution I have implemented before is the suffix. I think Friendly ID sort of offers you this. I think Friendly ID will do whatever you want, but what this one is doing by tagging on the little alphanumeric string at the end is it's not suddenly only using that as the slug. I mean, you could do that. You could implement that if you wanted. In the way that Trello does. Trello only cares about this bit of prefix. What Friendly ID is doing is simply adding that alphanumeric value just to make it unique. So like this whole thing is still being read. It's basically saying, well, I'll just chuck some characters on the end because who cares? The default one is that it just chucks an entire UUID in there. And let me tell you, marketing departments do not like that when it is just like, rather than Fun Run 2022, it's AGB34 whatever. And they have to put that in a press release. It's just, they don't want that. They don't want that. So I think we got any interruptions? What else have we got? We got, we can make this unique and no longer scope to organizations. I think that would be my preferred solution. I think I'm not going to do it for the reason that I picked the current solution anyway, which is that it's not what the actual end users want. I don't think people buying tickets for an event give a hoot, but I think organizations and marketing departments do. Maybe I'm off. Maybe that's just my own experience biasing me. And again, maybe the engineering should win out. The other thing that I'd pretty much always ask myself when trying to pick a route like this is like, how much can we back out of a decision like this? So let's say that we were like, right, we're going to make slugs unique. We're going to scope them to organizations. So an event slug. So remember, you have organization, has many events. The event has a slug. But at the moment, we're scoping that to the organizations. They have to be unique within that. How easy is it to back out of that? I think the answer to how easy it is to back out of is it's easier because you would be loosening a restriction rather than adding one. So you would simply, oh no, you wouldn't, because you'd have multiple. Yeah, okay. It'd be a pain in the ass because you would not be able to switch you wouldn't be able to add like a unique index to the slug column, for example, because you'd have multiple Fun Run 2022s. You also couldn't, you could, but you wouldn't want to suddenly attach, let's say, like an arbitrary value up front and insert it into the path and use that. You could do that. You'd have to honor all of the old redirects. Okay, it would be painful, really painful to move back out of. So the most strict, like, no longer scoping them to organizations is the one that, because then that's the one that lets you later scope them to organizations or whatever. I do like that. You could also mask this, like here we're doing it like this. You could sort of I miss doing these planning things. I like this. It's sort of like on the product-y side of things. Okay, that's good. You could do this randomly. So this part here, I mean, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter. It's just it's a random alphanumeric thing. But this could actually represent the event, and then you could give them a slug afterwards. You could do that maybe. That maybe lets the marketing department like, hey, there's this random thing in here, but actually the bit that people care about is this. This is always different, and we don't know why, but it's annoying. But it's only 5-6 characters. I mean, that's still a lot of, you know, you're not going to run into clashes unless you're, you know, and at some point you could add another character if you really were going to run into clashes at any kind of scale, like a Facebook scale or something like that. And how painful would it be to just run this? I guess it would be painful in the true scale, I would guess. So if we're Eventbrite, we have an Eventbrite account. set up before. No. So can do none of these. Okay. Hang on, let me do this on. Check this over here. Here we go. Cool. Okay, so we've got an account here. Manage my events. So what kind of slug control do we get at this kind of scale? Okay, so this is interesting because we literally just looked ages ago at the Eventbrite UI, and we went with the top navigation because they had this. Whoa, that's because that's rough. Oh, it's very like the new MailChimp style thing, like very big and. Okay, that's work. What the hell's going on here? Okay. Like this less. It's not worse or better, it's just I like it less. Okay. They don't scope any of their stuff by organization. I guess because they're more based around like an individual can run anything. All of theirs are root paths basically in Eventbrite. So I think maybe this isn't going to be in their scale. It just means it's probably not. I'll view your event. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah, they're just adding IDs on the end. Look. So can I change that slug? I don't know, this is probably a wild goose chase. It's not really worth chasing down too far because imagine at their scale, they're picking from 1 billion events or something. Oh, and also, yeah, you don't actually see a lot of their slugs because they do everything in these modals as well, which is one way to get around it, I guess. Like, less of an issue. Not that this is a huge issue. It's just something that's interesting as it cropped up. Okay, so what do we want to do? Let's pick. I think for now, like the shortest option. And one I'm not against is to potentially screw ourselves over if we ever did need to put an index, a unique index on the slug. But you could just put a composite index of just the organization and the slug. Like you could still look up, you'd still just do the lookup of both organization ID and slug. So I don't think there's a massive performance cost if you hit scale on that table. And for now, just pass the organization name in as an attribute, and then that would let you bring it out to this if you wanted to change the roots later. And then you could still honor this as long as you kept the name the same. Yeah, it feels backoutable of. All right, let's go check that out. So where would we be for that? So we would be in our request specs. And we'd be in our orders controller. So when no valid event is passed in as a parameter, we say it's a bad request. Oh, that's wrong. That's a typo. When a valid event. param. Okay. And that's all just for the new view. Okay, so let's say what we actually care about is when can you do, okay, so let's write out what we actually want to happen. So when no valid I don't think we need the as a param thing. I've got to come up with some consistent wording for the, but whatever. We want the same thing to happen, right? So just saying no. So basically just the link is broken and the person will get super confused, but that's, however they've ended up there without that param means that the original link was broken for now. But what we actually want to happen, like, does this this is where I was sort of getting confused with these request specs ages ago, which is like, this is always a string now. Like, can you pass, like, does it accept a hash here? Can you do this? I am a hash. Let's find out. Let's do this and just say that's an empty hash. Okay, we've got this thing called params and we're passing it to get, and I can't remember if it has a param, so we can just say we only want to do line 10. Let's grab this, go over here and do like bundle spec spec this path line and bring that back off. Why is it so wide? Back over here. Okay, so that's working. So in here now, if we pass event ID as 123, what actually happens now? I think it's just event. I think it's a slug. I think that would fail anyway. So let's do test now. Okay. We're still getting a bad request there. And what's actually happening in the orders controller? Get us that. Is it loading a real event? Okay. The params is the event and it's just a slug. Okay. But if we did... I'm just checking this, sort of checking this fails. So allow event to receive. just looking at. Oh. Why am I getting the failures on the other ones? Am I not only just running 10 anymore? Right, okay, so that's the one I care about. I don't know why the other, that's obviously not just scoping it to, oh, because 10's moved. It should be 14. I'm an idiot, okay. We should just get one failure is what I'm looking for. Great, and I'm actually getting a 200 because it's actually saying, yes, that's fine. Okay, so what I was trying to check there is like, is this the right way to do this? So that will now work if there's an event present with the right slug. This, what we want to happen is that there should be no organization. So in a real world, what do we want this to be, like org? Because again, this goes back to like, are they going to be handing out the URL straight to the purchase? Or they should always be handing out the event URL and asking people to click purchase in case you turn into a modal or something. So like, be like, like that. And so here you're then saying, can you pass multiple things to find by? Or is that why it goes off the end? I keep zooming in, I can change the whole thing. It's really annoying using a new user or laptop or something. Like nothing is set up the way you're used to doing it. Okay, so here, I don't like event.last. Do we have any events? Yeah, we do. What's the slug? New event. And great, that works. And then can you also do like this? Yes. Right. So that's checking for the slug. Events to organization. In here, maybe just pass the integer through. Because otherwise we'd have to do the transposing. I suppose this goes back to it as well. Like, do you want to pass the slug through, and then you have to get the ID from the slug, so you're doing another lookup here. Whereas here, if this was just this, gets you everything you need. Are we doing load organization anyway? Set event from slug, check event. Okay, so then we probably want to do set from slug as well, just so this can be branded. And maybe these are all awful ideas. Again, because it's a stream, you normally have had all of these conversations way up front and know what you were backing yourself into. And where you were trying to get to. I'm just doing everything on the fly for the stream, so maybe we'll do another proper like planning stream, just because I think we're just ending up with the worst organization. We're just always going to end up with the worst thing. But I mean, I don't know, we're fixing the bugs. That's all we're doing is just doing nice stuff on the stream. Set organization from slug. And then here, so we need that and that to be true. This is actually overkill. We don't actually need to load the entire organization or the entire event because we only really need what they are. But we want to do that. And then when we go to get the event, oh, actually need these in a different order. We need to do that and then that. And then can we do this in one? Because here we don't want that to be nil, or I don't think it can be nil anyway, because then we need them to have an organization. So I think here we can do that. But you might want that on there in case you remove that restriction that you needed an organization, because that could then be nil. I think, again, lack of total planning is such a pain in the ass on the stream, but you get there eventually. We put these in like the order of execution, but again, this doesn't feel great. You could extract all this stuff out and check it all properly. What's render new event present? So like, I put a view in here. Yeah, okay. So this could instead be like I don't know about ordered data, maybe that's wrong, but like again, I'm not putting a lot of thought into the naming right now. That's this later. Let's go back to our tests then. So, right, let's just run through what I've hacked together there pretty quickly. Basically, now we want to know two things rather than just saying, hey, do we have an event? Because we want to know that we're also passing in the organization and using that to look up the event. So we set the organization first. We say, right, does that exist? And that one is unique. So that slug, we know that there is only ever one slug per organization. So we go and get them. That should return us only ever the same organization. Great. At that point, we want to then say, right, well, we know the organization we're talking about. What's the event? Because and the event is scoped to the organization. So we need that first. When we go to get the event, we scope it to the organization that's already been loaded. And that being nil, I think, causes me concern, but I'm just going to skip over it. At that point, we're like, right, have we loaded the two things we actually need to generate an order? Check order data is present. Data is probably the wrong word. I would think I would come up with something better. So here we say, right, if we have those two things, then I don't think it matters which order we check these in because we need both. So I don't think that matters. If we have both, do whatever you want. But here, for some reason, we added in a specific view, and I guess this is for that marketing idea where they haven't built the URL correctly. We could put a view in here which gives a nicer experience to a user who has been sent a wrong link or a link that's missing the organization or something like that. And we say, this is a bad request. Because we're looking up by slug here, I think we would probably want this instead. Because this would get you the history feature. So if you have changed the slug of the organization, this might want the same thing, but I don't know how you do that and pass in two sets. So do you do, could you, how do you scope a friendly dot? Again, this is like stuff we'd have to look into with the friendly gem, but here I think you're only going to get the one with the current slug, whereas if friendly is offering you the ability to change the slug over time, you want some way of looking up that historical version that might have changed, but still mapping it to the correct organization. Yeah, I don't know how the friendly gem does this break that? Again, not having looked at any of this stuff in advance is such a pain in the ass. All right, fine. So then in here we have like this and this. So what did we end up with? Because that's now wrong, isn't it? So find by with slug. We ended up having find by with slug and organization. And that just returns. I don't think it matters what that actually returns. So what we can say is when there when an action and event. Oh yeah, I think by stubbing, yeah, I think I'm gonna actually be better off just doing this with factories, but I think I'm going to screw myself over on the other one. So let's just do this first one first. Here. This one should be okay. So this one should be that, and then this one is what? Do you have to use like something like this to get around friendly? With I don't even know what I was typing there, so this is going to be line 80. Check. Right, I've gone too quickly there. I wasn't really paying attention to what I was doing, but it'll flush itself out in the end. So it's actually getting an entire organization. Which one is event.find, but next then I need event. I need about organization as well. Let's double this through. Can never remember any of this stuff without checking it at the time. So it's the event that gets stuff first, friendly.find, and that returns. Organization. Well, no idea. Oh, did I change the number? Because I've got more than one failure there. 90. I've got to get the focus thing set up. So you can normally add a little tag to your RSpec block. Okay, so that works, I guess. Okay, fine. So that all works. So then in here, when no valid event is passed in as a param, so in here we can then break params, right? Are we passing in a different one, or do you want to remove one? What's 3B? Is it accept? Let's accept. And then accept the key one, which in this instance is event. And then this one we want 27. Okay, what's happening there? And which one is failing? Event. Do I need to stub both of those? I'm hoping this is making some sense as I'm going through, because I'm not a million. Okay, cool. So in here. Am I really testing what I think I'm testing here? Let's find out. So this one is accept event. And then this one is organization. I think they should all pass now. No, because these ones are now stubbed, so they'll definitely fail. Yeah. Oh, okay. Here I'm passing this in as a proper thing, but I think that test is now already covered in the first one. Here. And we haven't had to build this. So you can pass a params hash to get. Why was that not working for me before? Okay, so if I take this one out, have I stopped testing the thing I think I'm testing by doing this stubbing? Do these pass? I think they'll pass. One's failed. Okay. Oh, I thought I did that at the highest level when 37. Yeah. Oh, do I need organization as well? Yeah, okay. Anonymous. Oh, an instance of. Is it? No, it's not. What's actually getting fined by then? Organization.friendly.find. We never actually call anything on organization. Oh, because it's not getting to receive. Okay, right. It says the wrong. It says this. This. Yeah, okay, right. So yeah, I think I've not done a great job here. These are actually the only scenario where those are returned. Okay, and everywhere else. They're just gonna. So are they returning nil here? Oh, they must be because I'm getting ordered data missing, I'm guessing. So let's here do you have fry? No, we have buy bug, don't we? I forget every time. Let's just do 37. So it is nil because above that I'm doing so is this value set? No. This value set, yes. Yes, great. So we're saying that stubbing this to say it's not going to return anything. But is that the problem of the test? Is the problem with the test that we should be using a factory and actually checking that we are calling that, or are we happy stubbing it? Because we've said with, and therefore on the valid test we're specifying what should arrive. But previously we were just creating two factories. But we can also have an integration test that does run through this and checks that the right thing happens. Which is when you would load real data. Okay, so if we have the integration, what do they call it now? A system test. Okay, fine. So does this whole file run? If anyone thinks I have completely screwed over those tests, then I'm not sure whether I have or haven't, so let me know. All right, cool. So I think we've solved the problem, right? Like now, if we go to here, so we open a public page here. Oh, okay. Oh, we don't even get to. Okay, interesting. So we actually don't get to the right error because we've stubbed that out. Right, that's what I was thinking. I'm fucking the tests up. I did fuck them up. I was like, I found it immediately because this is gonna raise, and it wasn't before. We were gonna get a nil value back because it was fined by. So we would have two nils, when in fact here we're now gonna get just a straight up 404. Let's take a quick look at buy. Friendly ID guide, here we go. Unique, oh Jesus, this font is small, okay. Is it anything to do with... You can't have find by it here by the looks of it. Okay, that makes sense. I want to sort of look at like lookups. Voting for considerations. Oh, so they do... That's not friendly.finder, that's just .find. Is that overriding .find? Have we added this in? I think we did, right? Yes. To events, okay. Okay, so here we're doing friendly.find. Current friendly ID. Oh, that's interesting. They're just checking. They're getting it by the ID. They're not getting it by the slug. Okay, interesting, interesting. Finding records by friendly ID. This is what I was looking for. If you're using scopes, your friendly IDs may not be unique, so a simple find like find friendly. In this case, it's best to query through the relationship. So it's city.restaurants.friendly.find. Okay, alternative, you could pass the scope as a query parameter. Okay, great. So you can just tag a where on the front. Okay, so that can be... These can both be the same here. So this can be event.where. This. And this. .friendly. .find. So this will break both of these because now this will throw an error as well. So now we're never going to get here because neither of these are going to return nil. They're both going to raise. So we could rescue them. Maybe it's fine that they raise. Maybe we do just want a 404. So the actual behavior of that raise, we're in development here. So we're getting an active record not found. But in reality, we would probably catch all active record not found, provide a 404 and show something to the end user. In fact, what we might want to do is say, I think what we were looking to do with that additional view was like, well, there's a more specific problem here. And we want to say to the user, hey, something might be missing, blah, blah, blah. You're probably looking for, and then you might, if you have the event, you might, or if you have the organization, you might be like, hey, go to the organization's page and find the right event. Like basically try and catch it for a user experience. Again, this is sort of where the lack of planning of like, well, what would we do if is screwing us over because we're now like, do those tests still pass now that I've done that change? Because we've changed the stub, so they must both break now. Yeah. Yeah, so now we're just getting the record not found, which is correct. That's what that is correct. Okay, so I'm just looking at the time. I mean, we could just make... Yeah, what does it look like then to rescue? Yeah, there would just be nil. We could just do this, right? There would still be nil. This dangerous? I don't think we actually need the begin or anything there. Can we just do that? Or can we, is that more explicit? Quite like how explicit it is. Did these all suddenly pass again? No, because they're still the wrong stubs. The event is not going to receive find by. It's also going to receive. It's going to receive where? Like that's the actual stub, but I don't like using received message chain anyway. Oh no, I've got them the wrong way around. Yeah, because event is not receiving that anymore. Oof. Don't even know if this will work. Don't like that at all. That's still wrong. Because you receive the where first with organization. Because that would then, like, it's returning an active records relation that you're then chaining onto. Like, at this point, I think sort of put the factories back in. Like what would it look like to do that? So then you're taking that out. You're saying here it would be .slug organization .slug. especially have these records at that point. So in here, you can take all of that out. We'll take these out. Does any of that work? The parameters of event slug and the organization is the. Okay, why is that one still breaking? Are the params wrong? Let's see what this one is doing. In line 28. And we want to put in. Playbook here. So this is presumably raising. No, oh no, okay, so it's working. Then we can do next. It's next what I wanted to, did I want step? Step over? I can't remember the bybug syntax. It's not step over, okay. So it's not, that one's returning a thing. Is this one returning a thing? That one is not returning a thing. Okay, why not? Because is at organization been set? Yes. And params event is example event name. Have an event. Example event name. Okay. And the organization is 53. And at organization is 53. So why is that not working? Event.where organization is organization.friendly.find. Do you not need this? Yep. Okay, cool. I think that can go. Great, okay. The typo in the code. Here, I think. Okay, so we're not stopping any of that out. Is this better or worse? I think I'm still not quite sure on my use of factories in request specs, but there you go. Okay, so we've maintained our original behavior there by rescuing these. So what we're basically saying is we're just not, if they're not available, if we don't find them, we just don't set an event attribute. And then what that allows us to do is render a specific error and HTTP status when one of these is missing, which is like a custom experience. I don't know the value that has or whether that was any of this is worth it, but I think these tests sort of catch it for us. And so now when we go and do this same thing again, we go to our public page of our event, we click buy ticket, and now we get no event present, but we can change the wording of that to be a bit more relevant. We think the URL we're trying to visit is missing correct organization or event data. Why not? Here are some steps you can try to place your order, and then you could be like, oops. Search for event like these are just random things I'm thinking of, but like turn to the event page and gets button. The point I'm trying to make here is that this is the custom experience that you're trying to offer. Whereas we could have just shown a 404. And all you actually need here at this point is I can't remember, organization equals Sunday Club. All right. Yes. Okay, great. So now we've mandated both of these params in this URL. And I don't know if that's actually any good. I think that might suck as an experience, but at least we fixed the bug. So now you can't if we go to our seconds, let's actually, now that we've got this picker, this is really easy to do again. So our event here is called new event. So we can go to our other organization, literally called other organization, and do new event. And we can just update this so that it's a bit later and save the event. This one should also be called new event. Right. Okay. So if we take a look at what's happening here, we've got this font is going to be really small on the stream, but we've got localhost 3000 Sunday Club /event/new events. Here we've got other org /event/new event. So we've got two different pages. So now when we go to buy the ticket for ID 2, I haven't fixed that link. And let's fix the buy ticket link as well while we're here then. So let's do event show. Should be new order path, and then we can do organization equals at organization.slug. And we'll update both of these. So here we should have event 2. That is correct. And here we go through and we have event 1 because we're using both things to click it. So let's just run all of our tests and see if we broke anything else. So we might have broken a feature spec or a system spec, for example. But I think by updating that link, hopefully everything should work from the user's point of view. So I'm going to wrap it up once we've done this. We're hitting a couple of hours and we've kind of fixed our bug. And we didn't add any new view components. Oh no, we've got one broken test we can fix. Oh, this might be the system specs not working. I wonder if that is because I don't have. Oh no, okay, they are broken. So the screenshot that's popped up is this one. That's great. Okay. So is that because in the test? I guess that goes to the right place. Okay, great. So visit order /new. Yeah, okay, so this is now incorrect. And here we want... so that text is now broken, which we want to change. That's great. And hopefully, due to macOS, I think I can copy and paste that literally from the error. This is going to be amazing if this happens. So I think in macOS, if there's text in an image, it will now recognize the text and let you grab it, which is amazing. Just going to grab all of that. Chuck it in there. And this is then gonna have, oh, can I pass params to this? Capybara visit with params, look at that. Visit. Oh yeah, I can just pass it to the. Oh, okay. So the issue I had is that I don't think the path helpers were here. So let's just try this. So let's do relo path. So save that. So how many failures do I get on this test file? Two. Yes, great. Okay. So if we go and find our path, it should be like new order path. Can I do that in here? Or do I get a failure? Because I think that was where I was going wrong before and why I was having to do them by hand. There's one error, I don't know what that path is. No, okay, so I think it does know what that is. Okay, so in here we can then have event equals event.slug, organization equals event.organization.slug. Do I now get one failure? Yes. No, I get. Oh, okay, great. They got the same because it's the same before. Okay, amazing. Oh, that's so weird. Why was I doing those by hand before? That wasn't working. I don't think I felt I had access to the root helpers. Okay, interesting. So now all the tests should pass, and we can do yet another whip commit. And I'm really not sure we have made a good solution there. I think we have fixed the bug, but I think that this all might suck in terms of like the actual way we're structuring those URLs. And I would really want to sit down and give it some thought, but I'm not going to do that because it's the live stream. So we're not going to worry about it too much. Let's take a look at what we've actually done in Git here. What have we got? We have got changing the control. We got a lot. That's a rename. Okay, so how would we commit this? I'm about to do a whip commit with all of these in, so just spoiler alert for what's about to happen. But how would we actually do that incrementally if we were doing a PR for a review? I think we would say, I think our first commit would be changing this set event from slug to honor the friendly.find. Because that could just be the begin rescue and that would still work. Then I would swap out the no event present and order data missing stuff here, because that gets you the rename of the file and the copy in there as a commit. That's all fine. Then I would introduce the set organization method that also returns nil and add that in there also with the check for it as well, potentially. And the test. I think you got three separate commits there with passing tests as you go. Because that reword could have the the first reword fix in here, this one here, and then when you add in the last, that would need to happen when you add in the check as well. Yeah. And that would make it much more readable in a commit history and be atomic, because you could make sure that each one passed. But we're coming up on 2 hours, so right now I'm just about to write a whip commit for all of these. I am going to write that you could break this down. So let's do this in a commit message. So this is the like this is what Git hygiene is really, isn't it? Like we could chuck in this. Yeah. Okay. Oh, do I not have code set up as the editor for this? Okay, let's actually get out of this then. So make that blank and then get out of Vim. I'm going to do this while we're on the screen. So set VS Code as Git editor. Yeah, Mac. I think this is probably what I want. I have this already. Let's get that's different. Yeah, great. Okay, so whip add check for slug in new order path. When we first implemented the new order process, we only required the event slug. However, event slugs are not unique. They are only unique to within the scope of an organization. This means the new order process also needs to know the organization in order to load the correct event. This right up front. Could be broken down into one, change the event. We're on the friendly find and this is just for me when I'm rebasing this in case I feel like actually doing the diligence to do it. To update the order data not found, view and test. 3, add the need. Yeah, add the requirement for the org slug. Yeah. And then here, this is this commit adds the requirement for the organization slug to be present and also updates the queries used to honor the friendly ID history feature. I'm pretty sure that friendly.find does that. I'm pretty sure because in the docs it was saying you do the find and then if they're not there, but I think .friendly.find will say, hey, if there isn't one here, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to check that. I think question mark. Queries used to just put queries to another friendly find history feature, I think. All right, I'm going to commit that. And I can push this up because it was annoying not having them on GitHub the other day. Where have I just committed that if I'm detached? What? Where have I just shoved that? Oh, okay. No, I can do... Can I what am I about to lose is if I rebase. Add detached head to branch git. You might be about to watch me lose those two commits. I just want to go back onto that branch. Yeah. Yes, this is very thorough. I just want, how do I fix it? I'm here by accident. I want to keep them. Yes. Okay. Just create a new branch. Okay, so we can just do git branch. I mean, it's everything, isn't it? Let's call it fix new order scope. I'll just put fix new order. Okay, great. And then fix new order is presumably just one on from adding view components. We can actually, this is the one that's on GitHub, so we can take this. I mean, it doesn't matter. You could rebase it onto the fix new order, but who gives a shit? There's so much of a long work in progress branch there. All right, okay, that's going to wrap things up, I think. So we have fixed this bug. Are we happy with how we fixed it? Not necessarily. We ended up picking this one, is that right? Or yeah, it's slightly the same. So we can add a little comment here because this is comment. Ended up going with this solution and the live stream. I don't think it's deal, but got the bug resolved nice and quickly. And we discussed all the trade-offs. So ideally, I think we would want trade-offs, because this Notion board is publicly accessible. So I'm just going to grab the link to this stream in the stream. Yeah, and people can come and take a look at it if they want to. So like I said, this is what gets linked to from the YouTube stream. So for people that want to kind of keep up with these. And so I'm just gonna call that one completed. So we fixed a bug. Amazing. All right, and then this is some stuff that we want to do coming up. With that, I'm going to wrap up. I'm going to go and get some lunch because I started this stream hungry and I am finishing it even more hungry. Thank you so much to everyone who has watched. Hello to the couple of people who said hello in the chat. And we will pick up this time next week. Let me just run through what we covered. So we covered getting our development environment up and running and working out that Webpack had once again not worked, but we were able to get it working by dropping back. We did like a manual version of git bisect, which I think is worth taking a look into. So we jumped back to the place where we knew it did work and then incrementally worked our way forward and installed the gems and Webpack packages on the way through. And then we got that working again. We then went to fix our bug, discussed all the trade-offs and all the options we had available to us, picked one, discussed all the trade-offs, picked A1 and got it working, looked at stubbing versus using the factories in the tests, and looked at also how we might break. We ended up just doing one big whip commit, but how that could be 3 separate smaller commits to make it better for the person reviewing it, and also to make each of those but to keep them atomic. So the test would all still pass, the change would make sense in and of itself, and form a nice little narrative for a pull request to go into master. And that's the end of it. Thank you so much. Have a lovely week. And if I don't see you before, I will see you the next time, next Sunday at 10:30 a.m. UK time. Have a wonderful week.